Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Goal Sided. Omar here. I just came back from La Ciudad de Mexico. I was there for a trip for about 5 days. Went out to visit some fam, got some good food. Went to an America game. It was the only game in La Ciudad de Mexico at the time, so don't kill me, folks. I basically got dragged out there. It was the only match going on, like I said. It was a lot of fun, a lot of goals, but America won. Got to hang around with a bunch of nacos in the stands. But yeah, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be going into a bit of a recap of Chivas' season, this last season. Very disappointing season, frustrating season if you're a Chivas fan. I'm going to be going player by player on who I think should be staying in and who should be going out, who should be getting sold, transferred, on loan, whatever it may be. Let's not forget Gerardo Espinosa also got fired, so we're going to be talking about his performance, Oscar Garcia's performance, and who I think should be the next Chivas coach. And then we'll bring it on home with some players that I think should be coming in. So we know that they have said that they're not going to have any bombazo signings, but we'll see what players I think are affordable and would fit this system. At the end of the day, Chivas is saying that they need to go heavy on the youth players that they have. Gerardo Espinosa didn't do that, leaving Camberos and Padilla out. So let's get right into it. Chivas started this last season with Oscar Garcia as coach. And then midway through the season, right before the 3 matches against America, we started getting all the drama between the Spanish heads that were there at Chivas, meaning all of the guys that stayed after Fernando Hierro. Apparently, a couple of them kind of filled in for him as sporting director, and Oscar Garcia. They were the only Spanish people left that were part of that era. It seemed like a lot of heads were on the chopping block. Mauri gets rid of the sporting directors first, and then it seems like Oscar Garcia is up next. And unfortunately, it was even after a win against Pumas. But Oscar Garcia started off the season with a win against Santos, which honestly looked pretty good on paper as far as like starting the season. But Santos was dead last, I think, that year before, and then dead last this season. So I guess that didn't really say much about Chivas's first performance. But Oscar Garcia did have a 42% effective rate, 5 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses, which compared to Gerardo Espinosa, we'll go over in a bit, is astronomically better. I mean, so they start off with that win against Santos. They lost against Necaxa 3-2 against Los Larca Boys. They drew against Tigres, a pretty tight match in El Acron. They lose against León in one of James Rodriguez's first matches, and we see some James magic there. They draw against Querétaro, which was a pretty disappointing matchup. They start some of the CONCACAF Champions Cup matches. Disappointing draw against Cibao, which they end up taking it once they get home. They beat Tijuana 2-1, which was on the road to getting Osorio fired there. So that's not really saying that much. They win 3-0 against Cibao. They lose against Toluca 2-1 over there, and Alexis Vega kind of gets his payback. He scores one of the goals, and then El Guamurusito scores at the very end. They beat Pachuca surprisingly at home, a pretty good showing there, and then they look like they're doing okay, and then they get smacked by San Luis, who San Luis was second to last at that point. I think that was one of the big reasons also why Oscar Garcia got sacked, was because right around this point, before that Pumas match, which was his last one, Oscar Garcia's Chivas looked like they were figuring out certain matches on how to get wins, especially the Pachuca matchup. But they just weren't clicking. They weren't looking great. It wasn't looking comparatively to other extranjeros in the league. They weren't looking electrifying, which one would think a coach that used to be at Salzburg or wherever the hell he was at before, at European squads and from La Escuela de Barcelona, that he would be teaching these kids to be playing a lot better than they actually were. So that 3-1 loss to San Luis, I think, kind of set him on that path to getting fired. It seems like the rumors are already there that no matter what happens against Pumas, he's going to get fired. And they beat Pumas 1-0. which ends up costing Gustavo Lerma his job over at Pumas. But then it still gets Oscar Garcia fired, and then the whole drama starts of who's going to be the coach, an interim, or can they hire somebody immediately? They end up going with Gerardo Espinosa. Gerardo Espinosa's first match against America. He wins 1-0 pretty miraculously. I mean, it seems like he really outsmarted Jardine, did something different than expected, and was able to get a result off of that crazy own goal play, the Malagon. Unfortunately, it wasn't in league, so he didn't get like amazing points out of it. It set him up well for the second leg, but then they got smacked 4-0 against America in that second leg, and it was all for none. And then they draw against America at home, which I think with those two results back-to-back really blew some smoke up everyone's ass about Gerardo Espinosa, because he was undefeated against America for 2 matches. But those were really, really, really the only highlights of the entire time that he was there. And that win against America was 1 out of 2 wins that he had. The only one in league was actually against Puebla. So not much to say at all about Gerardo Espinosa. I think that's 2 wins and 3 losses and 4 draws. That is completely terrible for Chivas. And I felt really bad for Gerardo Espinosa, because we see it in the media where people start complaining a lot about Mexican coaches not getting these opportunities. Gerardo Espinosa is one of the most hyped up Liga MX coaches, because he was doing it at the U23 level. He went to the extranjero. He went to like Chile and coached over there. So definitely some hype behind him, but le quedó grande estar en Chivas. He didn't seem like he was trying anything different. He didn't seem like he was willing to risk. It seemed like he almost needed to just draw matches and survive or not lose, which is definitely not what somebody at Chivas should be doing. Especially not if he's fighting for his life for the job. Gerardo Espinosa, I would assume, really wanted to be Chivas' head coach, because that's a very sought-after job. But the results and the tactics, the El Parado, the players that he put out there just didn't reflect that. And the results showed. 2 wins, 1 win in league. That's completely disappointing, unacceptable. And a lot of us, me included on the pod, were talking about how we just need to give him a chance and like let's get him a good team and everything. Oscar Garcia had Chivas in the play-in spots, and then for a bit they were even looking really good just based off of results. And then for you to bring in a different coach and for that coach to just let it all completely fall apart it's not acceptable, and that's the reason why he got fired already, like immediately. And now the search starts, and we'll go into that in a bit as to who I think is possible to come in. But yeah, after the America trio, draw against Juarez, losing against Cruz Azul at home, losing against Monterrey 3-1, tying Mazatlan, that's embarrassing, barely beating Puebla 1-0, and then when you need to beat Atlas, tying Atlas 1-1. And I think one of the most embarrassing things about all of that is that everyone's up in arms at those last like 20 to 30 minutes against Atlas. Gerardo Espinosa was just not putting anything out there to make anything stick, to make anything different. He did have his 2-striker formation with Pulido and with Wilke, but he ended up leaving Chicharito on the bench. He didn't bring him in, which was huge, and I know he got criticized for that. He put in La Hormiga at that point, didn't really even give him a shot to do his thing, which I guess had to do a lot with what was going on in the locker room. Players not believing in Gerardo Espinosa. There was a clip of Luis Romo like cheering on that they were booing Gerardo Espinosa or something along those lines. Apparently Chicharito didn't like the 2-striker formation, and that's the reason why he didn't play Chicharito at all. And there was a big discussion about whether Chicharito is being disrespected by being on the squad and needing 1 goal just to move on to play in. And the coach looks over at you and he chooses a kid instead of probably the team's most storied player ever. So a whole bunch of drama there, and it ultimately led to Gerardo Espinosa getting fired because, like I mentioned, nothing of value, nothing, no game changer moves, nothing to show us that he is a mastermind, that he's any different. Like he kind of reminds me of Jimmy Lozano, that we all expected him to cook there with La Selección. He got a little bit bright spot with the bronze medal, but at the end of the day, he gets put on bigger teams, and you see is like queda grande la cosa. Like he ultimately can't bring any fresh new tactics, and that's exactly what Gerardo Espinosa was. And he's probably gonna get, I don't know, like a job like at Querétaro and Necaxa, some like mid or even lower teams might bank on him, and they might do well there. But with the Chivas, with any of the grandes, Gerardo Espinosa will not get hired again, and that's unfortunate. But yeah, with that, Chivas ended up in 11th place. That kept them outside of the top 10 play-in. So disappointing, embarrassing. If you're a Chivas fan, it's frustrating. It pisses you off. There's no way that this team should be anywhere below top 6. They should not be in the play-in. Any team that's grande should not be like below that 6th spot. And they're getting rid of the play-in, to my understanding, very soon. So Chivas has to fix something, or else they're going to be in trouble not making playoffs, which, fun fact, in the past 20 years, Chivas has made the playoffs about 20 times, which means that about half of the times they haven't made it. We have 2 tournaments a season. That's embarrassing. You're not even giving yourself a chance to win the championships, and that's why America is 3 championships ahead at this point. No, but a lot of things to call out from Chivas. A lot of micro decisions along the way that caused them to be at this point. Ultimately, do I think if they kept Oscar Garcia, they would have made play-in? Yes, for sure. I don't know if they would have made top 6, but they would have made play-in at the rate that they were going. And it seemed like Gerardo Espinosa just couldn't wrangle the locker room together, and that change just showed more mediocrity out of Chivas. So we'll see what comes out of that for the future. With some of the changes this offseason. So now, let's bring it to my picks, folks. We're going to go through the players one by one, and I'll call out whether I think that they should stay, whether I think they should go. And I'll move into some of the coaches that I think are possible to come in for Chivas to solve the situation. I'll go into some of the players that I think should be transferred in to help out. And you guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think, who you guys think should stay or should go, who should be coming in, and who should be the coach. All right, so we're going to do this old school presentation style from school. This is what I went to college for. We're going to be going keepers and down the line, and I'll let you guys know. I added a little graphic to let you guys know if I think they're good to stay or not. We're going to start with the keepers. Oscar Wally, technically 3rd keeper now because El Dragon, who I didn't actually put in here, so I'll talk about it in a second. But Oscar Wally, do I think he should stay? Hell no. Oscar Wally, unless it's 3rd, which I to my understanding, I'm hearing that he's not happy at Chivas because he wants to get minutes. I don't think he's any better than a 3rd keeper for Chivas. I don't have El Dragon on here, but if I had El Dragon, I would say check, stay, and be the 2nd keeper. Maybe you become an amazing backup, so much so that you can fight for the spot against Tala, or maybe Tala ends up going to Europe and being a unicorn. Mexican keepers don't go to Europe, but hopefully he goes. And then we have El Dragon there as a backup. Tala Rangel has to stay. You have to build a team around him. He is like the 2A, 2B goalkeeper de la Selección. He is a great size. He still has room to grow and to learn. Hopefully he does that. But I think he needs to stay at Chivas. You have to lock him up, and he's probably going to be asking for more money soon. So I'm already opening up that wallet. Mateo Chavez. I don't even have a reaction for this because Mateo Chavez dipped out to Asset Alkmaar. That's why I got the jersey on. This is my king. Se ve medio feíto with the long hair, but I don't care, man. This is my beautiful king. El hijo del gran Tilón Chavez. He obviously had a great upbringing with a professional footy dad. But I'm really glad that this kid got out of Chivas, got Chivas a couple mil and a percentage, I think 30% of a future sale. I think he's going to kill it as Omar, be really offensive, and then hopefully even learn a lot defensively so that he can transfer over to a better league, better team. But I think this guy's going to cook in Europe. But thank you. You left the big hole at left back. We don't have. I don't think Chivas has an amazing left back to come in. We'll talk about it in a bit. Alan Mozo. If you guys know me, I've talked mad shit about Alan Mozo. I wanted him gone if they could sell him. But because we're losing outside backs, I would like him to stay. I think him at right back is a good thing. I don't think he necessarily needs to start. I think there needs to be internal competition. And if somebody younger, better, can beat him for it, that'd be great. One big thing I would say about Mozo is this dude's got to stop the freaking wrestling WWE antics. He's got to just focus on playing. I don't like the cringe slide tackle by a corner and then like get into it with the crowd and then make hand gestures at the players. Like, no, that's so cringe. It's so cringe. I think he just needs to focus on playing. I think hopefully the next coach that comes in instills that in all the players. Shut up and play. Be serious about your profession and get points. That's it. But you could save also. We're holding it back anyways. Nobody will pay it. Diva Sepulveda, criticized a lot lately for being a really weak captain, the Chivas, but I think he should stay. I don't think we have a surplus of center backs. I saw a graphic that was saying that we sent the wrong guy to Toluca, that we should have kept Boyo Briseño, who's been playing good at Toluca until an injury. But yeah, he needs to be there. I think he holds that back line together as much as he can. I think he got exposed this year for like really needing Chiquete Orozco there on the other side, but they're making do with what they can. Mickey Tapias, I think we need to keep him. I don't think he's great. I think we should have better center backs there. If we can get a better center back, maybe a veteran that's won the league or something like that, that'd be great. But it is what it is. I think he's pretty cheap. Stay. Olivas, you're out of there. I think he has an ACL injury. I think he was on loan at like Mazatlan or something like that. Not good enough for Chivas. I'm sorry. One of those guys. Go and light it up at a different team like they always do. Jose Castillo, for sure got to stay. El Gran Jose. This guy is probably going to be plug and play at left back for Mateo Chavez because we don't have a natural left back there. And even though he's right-footed, he likes playing on the left. If we had a really good left back, I think he needs to be the left center back. If he feels comfortable like that, I think that would make it a lot stronger. But no. But yeah, I think he'll start at left back. He needs to stay. Probably should be called up for La Selección too. He's really solid. Miguel Gomez, the wonder kid that came up from Tapatío and started over Alan Mozo for a good amount of the season. I think he needs to stay. If anything, you need to stay and then go on loan, get some minutes at Mazatlan, at Querétaro, who we know love taking Chivas players, and get some even more important minutes. But he's already getting minutes over on Mozo, so I would say for sure keep him. Get another wonder kid out of him, like we did with Mateo Chavez, and yeah, keep cooking with these young kids. That's going to be the big thing for Chivas. They have to bring up young kids. Raul Martinez, the kid that got wrapped up in some drama for a bit, right? But I don't think he was in any trouble. Very good center back. I think he's got some good size to him. He had a couple of mistakes on the season, but I think it was his first full season actually getting minutes. I say keep him. We don't have a lot of center backs. If we get veteran center backs, I would say maybe he would be a good one to send on loan. But he should stay on the team. Good player. Leo Sepulveda. This one is for sure one I would want on loan. 23-year-old, to my understanding, was from MLS. I think this guy needs to get some minutes on a different team, get some hair on that chest, learn the ways of Liga MX. He's not going to learn that being on the bench with Chivas. Let him get that dog in him at a different team like Ramon Juarez, come back and take over Chivas' center back position. Let's get into some mids. Now we get some of the bigger names, folks. El Pocho Guzman. I think he should stay. I think he should stay because he has to be one of those staples in the locker room to help push everyone forward to success, help them win a ring. He's won championships with Pachuca. And I know he's not at a great level, and I think a big piece to it has to do with that same synergy of the team where, like, if some of them aren't trying, none of them are trying. I think he has a lot more to give to get back to a high level like he used to play at. I think the right coach will get that. So I would like him to stay, get a really hard-ass coach on them, and then I think Pocho Guzman would get a lot out of him. Because even if they sold him, I think he's past his prime, and I don't think we'll get too much from him. He's one of those guys that'll leave, and he'll start cooking somewhere else too. Govea, mi tocayo, Omar Govea. If you guys listen to the pod, you know exactly what this is going to be. Get out of here. Way, way, way overpriced when they got him for like freaking $4 million from Monterrey for a defensive center mid. Terrible. No. Didn't help at all. Barely played. El Oso Gonzalez was a stud above you. And El Oso Gonzalez probably came free. Like, it's embarrassing. No, this guy came to rob, for sure. He's still riding that hype that he played in Europe at, like, the 4th division of some random country. No. Terrible. Get out of here. El Conejito Brizuela, this one's me touching my heart. I would like for him to stay because I would like for there to be a new coach that can get the most out of some of these veteran players, including El Conejito Brizuela, which I think he said was going to be his last season. I think he needs to go out on a high. I don't think he needs to go out when Chivas doesn't make playoffs. Come back for one more season. Be with the good coach. Be that super sub like Chapito Sanchez. I think we need that. Eric Gutierrez, you got to be there. You have to stand out. There were small windows this season where he really killed it, where I liked his play. He started getting some of that long shot back. I think the whole offseason he has to just practice those long shots, work on his transition play out. Like he was getting beat too much by other mids in Liga MX. My guy, you just came from PSV. Much higher level. You should not be getting beat out by these players. You should be stand out way above everybody, and like that quality should be there so that we could all be like, damn, you're making Chivas better. I think that's what he needs to work on this offseason. A good coach will get that out of him. You should stay. Luis Romo, for sure, one of my biggest stays. Obviously, they just got him from Cruz Azul, but I think he had one of the most standout parts of the season. After coming in, he got that red card against Monterrey, which honestly, that might be one of the biggest reasons why Chivas didn't make playoffs, because he missed the last 2 games, and they needed those points against Atlas, and Luis Romo would have definitely helped, but I could see where he got the frustration for the red card. He's busting his ass off the entire game, and the quality is just not there, so things don't work out the way that you want them. You get a red card. Inexcusable. Did his team dirty, but I get it, Luis Romo. But you should definitely stay. You should lead the team. Probably should be captain next year. And Chivas should hold the bar to being at the quality of these guys, Luis Romo, Eric Gutierrez, and higher. Bring up Pocho Guzman to that level, and some of these other players. Nene Beltran. This is a tough one, but I would say he's got to go. I think you got to sell high on Nene Beltran. I know there's a huge push on social media that like, oh, he's so underrated. And I get it. He's probably going to tear it up wherever he goes. If he goes to America, he's going to drop a hat trick against Chivas. But he's not going to give anything more than he's currently giving to Chivas. And I think Chivas can sell high and get some better players maybe some younger players, give opportunity to some of the young players from the academy. Chivas already has a good surplus at the center mid position with Romo. Also Gonzalez is still there, with Eric Gutierrez. I like Piojo Alvarado central. I think if we get a good mix of that, that opens up the wings for Padilla, for Camberos. I don't think Nene Beltran is needed. If anything, if he stays, I think he's a very high-quality sub, but I don't think he would start. Let me know in the comments below if you guys think I'm tripping. I don't think I am, but let me know. Aguirre, I believe this guy's name is. Who knows? No, the LA Galaxy dude. This guy is not breaking through. He's not doing the thing. I remember him in preseason. He had one game where he was trying to do it all to show off and get some minutes, but no más no, that MLS quality is just not transitioning over, and this guy's probably going to end up back in MLS. El Oso González, de mi corazón, de todos nuestros corazones, this guy's got to stay because he's probably charging a 6-pack of chelas a match, and he's just out there doing the dirty work. He's doing the Lord's work out there. Este güey is a good locker room player, and he is a good, throw him in and he'll do exactly what you need to. I saw a couple of matches where we're winning the match, put El Oso in to secure it, and I love that strategy there. If Chivas is better overall as a team, some players like him included, I think are huge gems to have on the bench because they're cheap and they help out the quality of the team to just get a win. Alan Pulido, we're getting to some of the forwards. Alan Pulido has to stay. Has to do a lot more for Chivas. You didn't come in to get 2 goals on the season, my guy. You came in to start fighting for double digits. Their top goal scorers on the season got 12 goals. I know those are extranjeros, but you got to be up there in the 7 to 8, pushing for the double digits. Remember, Alan Pulido was the last Chivas goleador in that championship season, and that's what they brought him in for. So hopefully the off season clears up whatever he's got in that knee, and I expect 6 to 8 goals out of Alan Pulido next season. Chicha Dios, Chicharito, huge amount of drama. Everyone's saying that he's got to leave because of how they did him dirty. I think he needs to stay. Same thing with Conejito Brizuela and Pocho Guzman. I think Chicharito's got to go out on a good high, not how this season ended. So hopefully the coach that comes in convinces him to stay, and he does what he was expected to do. Chicharito wasn't expected to be the starter and to try to play like he did when he was at Manchester United or before he left Chivas. Chicharito ideally is coming home to do a victory lap, to do one last hoorah before retiring. And we're killing him out there. Alan Pulido needs to score 6 to 8 goals on the season. Teun Wilke has to keep pushing those numbers too, so that Chicharito can just come off the bench. Chivas winning because the team is better, ideally. And Chicharito can put in those goals and just be happy with the crowd. That's what he came for. Just that Chivas is not at that moment. That's what they have to get to. And I hope that that's what Chicharito is over the next season or two. Cade Cowell, my local boy. We're in the Bay Area. He's from the Bay Area. Cade Cowell, come back to the Bay Area. Come back to the Quakes. Chivas got gypped on this $7 million transfer fee. That was way too much for the boy. A bit of a one-trick pony. I think if the trick works, if he's up against the defender that's really slow, Cade Cowell's cooking. You're about to get torched. But more likely than not, they put a pretty fast kid on him that's better footwork-wise, has better skill than Cade Cowell, and he gets shut down. If he can't beat them in speed, it's not happening any other way. And I think Chivas should offload Cade Cowell. If there are any takers from Europe still, send him that way, get some money for him, and use it to invest it towards other people. On the left, Camberos is playing, right? I think Chivas has some great young wingers that need opportunities over Cade Cowell, for sure, 100%. El Piojo Alvarado has to stay, obviously. Probably co-best player on the team with Luis Romo. Statistically the best. I think he had like 4 goals and a couple assists, which is pretty sad. The top goal scorer had 4, and it was Piojo. But it is what it is, and he needs to be there. Build on that. Like I said, good coach, good system. Piojo Alvarado should be putting up 10 goal contributions easily on the season, if not more. And just putting him in the right situations. Like sometimes he really kills it on the right. I like him centrally, but just figure out that position. Wherever, in my opinion, put him wherever allows you to put other even better players around him, so that we have the most stacked squad. The worst thing that I hated was when they'd put him wide to the right, and then they'd bring in like a Nene Beltran in the middle. And I'm just like, Jesus. I would rather him be central and then bring in Yael Padilla, bring in Camberos, and be really explosive. Hopefully we get a really explosive Chivas next season. Speaking of explosiveness, Yael Padilla, yes, stay. Gerardo Espinosa was doing him and Camberos dirty towards the end of the season. Coming in as subs. My Lord. No, just give them all the minutes. They've proved it. They're doing more goal contributions than a lot of the veterans on the team. I love this kid. I don't think he's going to be leaving to Europe anytime soon. It seems like he's getting a bit overlooked. I'm expecting big numbers from him this next season. Hopefully closer to 5 assists. La Hormiga. Very controversial, the couple of minutes that he would get in the season, because he was obviously always stealing minutes from either a Pulido or a Chicharito. I like him. I want him to stay, but I would like for him to go on loan. Do the same thing that we did with JJ Macias with him. Send him out to Leon. Send him out to... if you send him to Leon, that'd be great. He'd go to a Club World Cup as a lone player, and then he comes back with that experience. He'll get that dog in him, and those teams give him minutes. It's different competition against people that he's not used to. I think he should stay. He should go on loan, because I like the other forwards that Chivas has. I don't think they have to bring in a forward, in all honesty. Teun Wilke de mi corazón for sure has to stay. I'd rather Hormiga go on loan than Teun Wilke. Teun Wilke got 2 goals and an assist on the season. This guy's a big mofo out there. He was busting his chops, trying to score however he could. Scored a beautiful header, which, how long has it been since we've seen Chivas players that are good in the air? Like since Sergio Santana, since Omar Bravo. Jared Borghetti, the little bit that he was there. Like, it looked so amazing when he scored that header. I was like, Jesus Christ, Chivas forwards can do that? Okay. So I think he has a lot of skills there. Well-rounded, physical, can shoot on a half turn. Like, this guy is special, and I would want him to be the second striker. Pulido first, Teun Wilke second, Chicharito third, and then La Hormiga on loan. Let's get it. Camberos. He wasn't on the official roster. That's why I had to get a different picture for some reason. But this fool's got to stay. Got to stay. Don't even think about loaning him. And the only reason why I say that is because Gerardo Espinosa, like, I don't know what's happening in the locker room, is seeing some wild stuff to leave him on the bench, to not put him in some games when you need to win. And then he goes in and he gets goal contributions. He scored. He scored against... He had the shot against Atlas for the goal that they scored, or else they would have gotten embarrassed losing against Atlas. He scored against Toluca, a banger of a goal this season. I don't know what else this guy's got to do. Like, I don't understand sometimes Liga MX coaches, like, why would you go back to a Cade Cowell? Why would you go back to like a Pocho Guzman? Why would you put somebody like that? Like, do you see them as more secure? But this guy might win you the game. You'd rather be playing for ties than putting in a player like him who's electrifying. There's only benefits from it. If he goes in and he scores, he's already getting looked at by PSV and all these teams. Like, what else do you need, my guy? But yeah, Camberos. Stay on the team. Get double-digit goal contributions like next year, and then you're going to Europe, baby. And a rumor is that he's getting called up to La Selección. Personally, asked for by Rafa Marquez, is what they're saying. I don't know. So let's get it, folks. That's the roster. I think we get Campillo back from Juarez this season, so that would help in the center mid. So even more reason to get rid of Omar Govea. Even more reason to maybe get some money for Nene Beltran. But we'll go into it in a second of some of the players I want to come in. But let's talk about coaches. Gerardo Espinosa, terrible. Like I mentioned, 1 win in league, embarrassing, not great. Like I said, he did a lot of Mexican coaches dirty because people have been screaming Mexican coaches need more chances. He was one of the most overhyped Mexican coaches available, but he got his chance, did nothing with it, didn't even experiment, didn't even try to win games, and unfortunately, he's going to go off into the ether. It's over. He's not going to get a big team anytime soon. So let's talk about realistically who have we been hearing about Chivas and who I think they probably will get. Almada, everyone's talking about it, that Chivas needs a coach that can foster the youth and that can get the most out of them and will drive immediate results. That's kind of what Amauri has said, and Javier Mier, the sporting director de las Chivas, have been saying that they're not going for bombazo signings, which is something that Chivas needs, big signings, but that they're going to need a coach that can foster the youth, bring players up, and immediately plug them in. Almada fits everything of that because he did at Pachuca, but Chivas did say that they don't want to sign a coach that is under contract with another team because they don't want to steal them a la Gago, a la Anselmi type vibes. And he has a contract until next year with Pachuca, to my understanding. And he's going to be at the Club World Cup, which is going to cut it really tight with the start of the season. So I don't know if they're going to hire him. But I would give this an A+ if they somehow got Almada. That would be an A+ in my book. Nacho Ambriz is a realistic one. So he is a free agent right now. He's not on a team. He had some terrible stints recently at Toluca where they got completely wrecked in playoffs like 2 years in a row when they should have won the championship. They looked kind of good in season, but then in playoffs they looked terrible. Went over to Santos and had that embarrassing run right before Tano Ortiz just jumped on. But in all honesty, nobody's been able to hold that Santos, so maybe that's more on Santos than on Nacho Ambriz. Really famous for being part of Javier Aguirre's Atletico Madrid squad and with la selección from la escuela de Javier Aguirre. I like him as a coach, and I think he's one of the very few Mexican coaches that can really instill that fear, that temperamento, that like football idea in a Mexican player, because one of the things is Mexican players don't listen to Mexican coaches. They want to hear from Gagos. They want to hear from Anselmis. They want to hear that acento, that you're not Mexican. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, these guys are so much better. Let me listen. And then they'll stop partying. They'll start paying attention. They'll start playing better in games. But I think he is a coach that can get the most out of players. One of the few Mexican ones left that are available, that are relevant. So I realistically think it might be him. I think there's one more in here that I think is realistic, and we'll go over that in a second. But hopefully get some good results. The other one that I think is realistic that I don't love, Siboldi. Siboldi famously came in for Tigres towards the end of that season where they beat Chivas in the final. So he's been riding that for forever. He coached at Santos, coached at Cruz Azul, had a bad exit at Cruz Azul. But apparently been rumored to Chivas. He is a free agent right now. I don't love him. But the thing is, he is a Liga MX lifer, so he's not going to dip out on Chivas. So I'd give him a shot. But I would rather Nacho Ambriz. But then it raises the question, are the players going to give a shit about a Mexican coach? A ver qué. The other one that I didn't have on here, what the hell happened to him, is Larcamón. Larcamón has been rumored slightly, but I would like him there because I would like Chivas to be Los Larca Boys, and gives the vibe like that cult hero a la Almeida that like will motivate you, but then at the same time will never leave you and will love your institution. If you guys remember him with Puebla, he used to go out to the freaking barrios and play soccer, play pickup with the people of Puebla. I would love that at Chivas. I think he has everything that you need for the city to love him. But he is with Necaxa until 2026. And if it rings true that they don't want to pay, Chivas doesn't want to pay any cláusulas, they won't get him. The last one is Almeida. Almeida is under contract with AEK. It seemed like he wasn't going to renew, or like that they forgot to renew and that he could maybe slip away on a free. They re-signed him and he's there for a good while now. And the cláusula is probably like 10 million or something. So I highly doubt Almeida's coming. But everyone's saying it has to be him. If Amaury doesn't want people throwing stuff at him and being pissed off, then you got to bring him in. Let's talk players. I got 3 players, folks. You guys tell me in the comments below who you guys think should come in. Realistically, let's be realistic. Chivas is not going to spend a lot. They already said no bombazos. If we weren't being realistic, I'd say Raúl Jiménez. If we weren't being realistic, I'd say Johan Vázquez. Maybe Cesar Montes might be kind of realistic, right? If he wants to leave Russia. But let's get into it. Number 1, Alan Bautista from Pachuca. Completely forgotten at Pachuca. Has been getting very little minutes the past 10 matches with Pachuca. This guy was a baller. He even got called up to the selección, to the Moleros. Get him out of that situation at Pachuca, Chivas. Pay what you need to, couple million. Pachuca has a lot of players. Maybe you'll get a little deal there. But I don't think this is one of those bombazos that they're trying to avoid, paying the 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 million. You might be able to get him on a deal if Pachuca's not loving what they're seeing out of him, apparently. Lack of minutes. Efrain Alvarez, rumored last window. What happened? I would say get him now. Both of these players are attacking players, attacking minded, which is what Chivas needs. Alan Bautista can play on the left, which is where Cade Cowell's at. Where if you get rid of him, pues ya, que chido. Efrain Alvarez plays on the right, and that would be great to have him there. You can move Piojo centrally. He can battle it out with Padilla. I think that internal competition would be great. Consolation prize, if you can't get Efrain Alvarez, get Kevin Castañeda from Tijuana. I think that dude's been balling out for a while, and he might be cheap. Rubalcaba. This dude is very good at Pumas. He's completely outshined everybody with the selección in that match against Internacional with the selección. I think Chivas can get him out of Pumas. I don't think it should be too expensive. That Chivas tax obviously will be there, but I think this could be like one of those bombazos. And he is a Cade Cowell speed, but a lot better technically. I would love for him to be at Chivas. But yeah, folks, that's all that I had from a player perspective. Like I said, you guys let me know who you guys think should be there, who your pick for transfers to come in are, who you guys think should be the coach of Chivas next season. Remember that coach has got to be there before the preseason starts, is what the management is saying, which is like mid-May. So they have about a little bit less than a month, which makes it a bit difficult to buy coaches that are currently with their teams. But yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys liked that. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content. We'll have a whole bunch coming your way. We'll talk soon. Peace.